Hello and welcome. In this video, I'm going to speak about the residential tenancy agreement, the actual lease agreement specifically for Ontario. Now, many of you will be seeing this for the first time when your landlord hands it to you. So you're looking for a place to live. You come to a mutual agreement with the landlord. You like the accommodation. This is what he'll be handing to you. So you'll be seeing it probably for the first time, many of you. So let me just go over to the actual lease itself, and we'll walk through the sections where we see the most questions. And in addition, I will leave a link so you can download your own copy. Now, before we do that, let me just add something else. This is not a form that you fill out and hand it to the landlord. This is what the landlord hands to you. But I'm doing this video because there's been a lot of questions on sections of the agreement because you're only seeing it for the first time and you have to digest it at that time. So I'm doing this video so you get an advanced look at it so you know exactly what it will be when you do have to fill it out. Okay, let me not spend too much time on this. Let's go over to the document and we'll walk through it. Okay, you should be able to see it now. Now, the first one is a note, and this tenancy agreement or lease is required for tenancies entered into on March the 1st, 2021 or later. Okay, let me just add to that. So any agreement after March the 1st, 2021 should have this as a lease agreement. Anything before that, which means you are living there before that, whatever lease you have, that applies. Okay. Let's go down and see what we have. Well, section 1, this is where the landlord puts their legal name. So it's the landlord or the management company fills in their details. You as a tenant, there's a space for six. There's actually space for 6 names. Doesn't mean, and this is the first one which gets people confused. Because they have 6 spaces doesn't mean to say you can put 6 names there or 6 adults. Every location has a limitation as to how many people can live there. So maybe a large home, you can have 6 there. Wife and husband and wife, 4 children, that's fine. However, the landlord will tell you what the limitations are as far as occupancy. I'll try and go through this quickly so we don't spend too much time on it. The landlord will rent to the tenant rental unit at. So this is just what the type of unit it is, and the address and the postcode. Now, number of vehicles. You have to find out for the location, especially if you're living in an apartment, how many parking spots are allocated to you. In some places, they have designated parking. You just can't bring 2 or 3 cars and park them anywhere you like. You've got to find out exactly what parking is allocated to you. Now, here's another one which causes some a little bit of confusion. Is the unit is a unit in a condominium. Now, there'll be this lease agreement which applies for a house or an apartment. However, the condominium has its own set of rules, and you have to agree to abide by that. That's normally a building with 200-300 units, and they have their own set of rules within the condominium. So rules for common spaces, the pool, the hot tub, things like that. And those rules are generally set for smooth running of the whole building. The next one I think is self-explanatory, whether you're going to accept notification and documents by mail or email. Most people accept it by email. contact information for the landlord, be it an emergency number, email. I mean, this is pretty much self-explanatory. This is one that now section 4, the term of the tenancy agreement. Now, typically, an agreement will be 12 months to start, then month to month. However, there are some homes that are what we call short-term accommodation. So you'd have a fixed length of tenancy. All the same rules apply, but here you put the date. So it's from this date and it ends here. Just to make that clear, it's another one that gets some people confused. Again, the date, the rent to be paid. Let's go down. That's self-explanatory. So sometimes a landlord would ask you for post-dated checks. Really, legally, you really don't have to do that, but it's just for convenience, because instead of him having to pick up a check or you delivering it, you give him 12 posted checks in advance. He just takes it on the first of the month or whatever date has been agreed. Now, this is another one. Services and utilities. As you see, that the following services are included in the law for rent for the rental unit as specified. So if sometimes the landlord will provide it as in with the rent, and other times it will be you have to pay those individual charges separately. So it'll be the rent plus this, and this is where this is indicated. And any additional details is written up in that blank space. Again, just to clarify it, the following utilities are the responsibility of, so it will be the landlord or the tenant, depending on the arrangement and what type of accommodation it is. Okay, this is another one, rent deposit. And I think I did something about this in another video. A rent deposit is required. The tenant will pay a rent deposit of X. This can and only be applied to the last month of your rental tenancy. So if your rent ends in December, then this last month's rent covers December. Key deposit. Again, if you've lost the key, if it's a fob because it's a building where there's controlled access, controlled electronic access, you'll be given those keys and fobs. However, if you lose them or damage them, you'll be responsible for replacing them. Typically what happens, the landlord will replace them and charge it to you. Again, smoking. There are strict rules with regards to smoking in Ontario now in private buildings and public buildings. So generally you can go outside. If you're a smoker, then you can talk to the landlord about that. You need to go outside to smoke. In condominiums, you can't smoke anywhere in the building, and sometimes not even outside, unless you're so many feet away. Tenant insurance. This is another one where there's quite a bit of confusion. Here it gives you two choices. There are no tenant insurance requirements. And the second one is the tenant must have liability insurance at all times. If the landlord asks for proof of coverage, the tenant must provide it. It is up to the tenant to get contents insurance if they want it. Okay, so this is specific for, well, condominiums, well, all homes really, and we advise getting tenant insurance. And what it covers, if there's a flood or some kind of damage or theft, a break into to your home, your insurance, your contents insurance will be covered by your insurance company, not the landlord's. The landlord's insurance only covers the building. In addition, if you're living in a condominium and there's a leak from the bath, then your liability insurance would cover that. So leak from the bath, which does damage down below. So a landlord will ask for coverage every single year to make sure they're covered. Just just a note. Each landlord is different. Some landlords will put it in themselves and they'll cover it with the rent. Others would ask it specifically, especially if you're living in a house. Changes to the rental unit. When you go in, it's normally standard colors. If you're going to make a change to the walls, painting, wall coverings, etc., you must speak to the landlord first. And maintenance repairs, but that speaks to the keeping the unit in good in clean and good repair. Now, I did a video about this, and let me just go over it again. Signing and subletting. Again, the tenant may assign or sublet their rental unit to another person only with the consent of the landlord. The landlord cannot arbitrarily or unreasonably withhold consent to a sublet or potential assignee. Now, that's another area of, it's another gray area, but again, I've explained it in another video. Go to our other video and you can look at that there. I mean, this is pretty much everything in it. There's 15, I think there's about 15 pages, so it covers other things as far as explaining it. But I just thought I'd do this quick video. Well, it was supposed to be a quick video and just go through this and so that you can look at it and get familiar with it. But once again, don't print this out and go to your landlord and have all the details filled out. No, they hand it to you. I almost guarantee if you take this form to your landlord, you won't get the apartment or the home. And here's the signature for. Typically, they would want a signature from everyone that's 18 and over, so legal adult. Okay, so I think that covers it. Again, I'm going to leave a link so you can download it and go through it on your own. I don't know how good the quality is when I'm sharing it right here, but you'll have an option to look at it on your own. Okay, good luck with your search. Take care.